Alright guys, welcome back. If you build the calculator on your own, great job. If you did not yet, I am going to do right now. So I am back in my project directory in the terminal and I am going to run create react app and I am going to call this clock. I am going hit enter. It's going to do all the heavy lifting of installing React and the React dependencies. Now, in the meantime, let's discuss a few of the concepts. Basically, I am going to need a grid with button. Ideally, it will be well. What will be make it flex a little bit? I am not sure how. From a design standpoint, we are not gonna be using any library like Bootstrap. You can if you would like to, but I will be cover how to integrate Bootstrap using React. Actually, in the next video or one of the next video, I am not sure exactly. So let's just give it a few minutes to get everything set up for us. In fact, probably pause this video and come back when it's done. Alright guys, that actually did not take too long. So hopefully by this point, you guys have follow along and we have now got a project called calc ready to get going. So I am going to cd into that directory and actually didn't need terminal anymore. I am going to create add workspace folder and so let me get the project. I am going to add this and close the welcome screen and let's get started. So if I am discussing a calculator, one of the first thing that I will need that will be the button. But let's get rid of this. I use the existing container here. I'm going to create an input field which will host the actual current kind of some mathematical equation. I guess so. Let's go ahead and make an import field and the class name. It's going to be the result. Oh, there is gonna be a no placeholder. Let's go ahead and write test and then the value. Let's say it is going to be the state current. Alright, let's go and stand then. So you build the state, so it's construct that going pass in the props and now we are always going to go that, and here is the parent class. So running the super props, then gonna pass in the props to the super method, and then I am going to say this, then not state equal current. It's gonna be basically nothing in there, and then the previous is that going to be an array, and I will cover the later. Alright, so let's go ahead and save this and then open a terminal that I am going to run npm start now. It gonna load up for our application here and it will really only need that if you like this, right? So I could actually the kind of, so guys, that should be the enough. Alright, so we get some room on the left and some room on the right and it good to go. Alright, so I have got an input field on the right now that does nothing, and that's because I need to get rid of the button, and there I am going to need to be responsive. So I'm going to need and add some css to it, but before that in the source directory I'm gonna add a folder that I'm going to call its component, and then in the source directory I'm gonna add any other folder and I'm going to call it a css, and then in the component let's go ahead and create a new file and it's gonna be called the button.js. So I'm going to create a new React component, and as always you need to import React, and this is the curly braces component from there and all the lowercase React. So I am importing React. I just realized that this has zoomed out again. I assume that in a bit. Here we go. Oh, this is big enough. Oh, okay. Alright. Drop down a few lines and class button stand component. So I am always then when I write the React component, that will always going to stand React component class. So the first thing I need to is the render method, and then I need to return some HTML, and the HTML that I return is to going to be a div, the button with the inside of the day, and I'm going to need some props. So each time in this state and there is the button knows what is that and what it should do. So let's go ahead and add button class rock button, because we are going to styling these, and then for right now let's just print the number of 1 2 and there, and then we also need to explore default button, and now we are ready to use these and start creating our grid button app. But we need to import, but we are also going to import the button from in the current directory. I am going to look for the component directory, and then but I am going to save this, and then down here I'm going to start creating React properly with a clear fix after it. Well, I can just add thing for this thinking about the calculator. I am going to open up the calculator here, and it's not going to be the fully feature, but it is going to be something like this. I can look at how it's react and it gets big and small, and that I'm going to do is something similar. Expect we are gonna probably keep it like this view. So for across that I'm gonna have this row all the way to this row. So I'm gonna to need 4 by 5 grid. So here we are going to do this. We are going to create a variable, a constant variable called the button, and it's gonna be like this because I'm going to map through this button which I have not done before. So you will get to learn how to do that. So what I'm going to do need to this in the project, I'm going to have the symbol property. So let's say I am going to have the probably a column. So I'll need to create some grid structure here, and bootstrap will also help a lot. So but instead of going and integrating bootstrap itself, I'm just going to have to do this ourselves. Call this, let's say it's going to be one of the action, alright. So I'm gonna need to define the some action or some function that each button will call that it will update accordingly. Let's say the action is going to be this, alright. So let's create the reset function that's gonna to do this. Set state result equal result that's gonna be 0. And actually let's make that a string and set the default as well. I'm gonna save it, gonna refresh with 0 in there. Good stuff. And then I have our first button that I have not used it all yet. So I will get it. Let's think about the layout. Basically, I mean that I'm not going to need all of these. So that will be like this. This is not the actual layout of the calculator. I am going to check on my phone and see what the calculator they look like. It is very similar. Okay, divide the multiply minus plus. Okay, I'm going to basically have this large C button here, which is going to reset it. So the column are actually going to be there, and then I'm going to have a divide, but so as there is a symbol is going to be that, and I don't have the divide button. So I have used a slash call that is going to be 1. Action is going to be like this, add to the current. Yes, alright, I am going to need a new method called the add to current, and then this method is will do. I'm going to take in a parameter called new, and we cannot do that. I'll use this short button variable name, but something that will not work. So add the current and will say symbol, then I'm going to this test stage, but I'm going to say this set current state. No, you can say that the current is going to be the equal. So this is state current plus symbol. So essentially what I am doing here is that I am just going to the symbol, and most of the method that I am going to, most of the button that here I work, and that I'm gonna to use some function. I am gonna to copy this, that I am gonna say even a eight paste again 9 say times, and that's gonna be the right hand side. So we are going to start a new load down 456 minus 456, then minus the next row. I am gonna to have 1 2 3 plus 1. Oops, I zoomed away down there. So one of the three, then plus symbol, and then any other row. In this row I'm going to have 0. The column is going to be equal to, and then I'm going to that have period, just a regular dot, and then the equal symbol. Okay, so we have the column ranging from 1 to 23. We can convert these to percentages. What we are going to do is, but for right now I need to actually a map mount. We have got all these criteria and we are not using them in the application. I just realized that so far we are about 50 minutes in this video, so it is probably going to be cut down into two parts. So I have find a good spot to cut that, but for right now I'm going to map out these. I'm going to learn how to map component. So this is the 6 arrow function. So where we are going to be use this function JavaScript code within HTML. We need to open the curly braces and the variable we have just found in this button. So we are gonna map through that, how you map through an array. You type the array name dot map. This is the method. So you gonna open up the parentheses and you are going to open up the any other set. So rather than type a function and then parentheses, then you know curly braces with the 6 imagine. So that the function is written right there, and just put your parameter in here. So button are going to map through, and each individual button is going to be recalled within the club, and then I am going to pass the index number, and I will tell you guys which it is just a moment. So right now I am going to use an arrow to move over into the scope of this. It is a mapping function, and what I am going to do is we are going to return button, and I am going to say the symbol is going to be the bt dot symbol. So the for instance this row right there, the column c divided is 789, that's going to be passed is as a props top symbol called is that is going to be equal to what is the dark call and then action. So it is here is the tricky part. I'm just gonna leave that for a second. I am going to close the button component. So what we need to do is we need to receive a symbol, then to pass the add to the current. So what I'm going to do is open a parenthesis that I'm going to say a symbol, and then I'm going to use an arrow to call, but in thought action safe, then I go amend something messed up, and you know that I do not have done anything within the button component itself. So I think that I'm going to have leave it right now. I'm going to add this all this code to get the GitHub repository. I will post in the link for this video on this below section, and then you guys can access the finished version of this code. I hope from till right now you understand all the things that I have discussed in this video. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and share this video with your friend, and subscribe the YouTube channel Get Sideman for more future courses like this. I will see you guys in the next part of the video.